Welcome back, everyone. So we talked about this Tophill in our whole video. It has good looks. And yeah, I've got a soft spot for good-looking watches that are still sort of budget. We also get a Sapphire crystal and a Sapphire cyclops, and the magnification is actually really good. Now, the actual design of the watch, that dial, everything about it is interesting. But then, of course, the clasp is a bit nuanced. The bracelet is a bit nuanced. But there's a lot to say about this watch, so how about we dive in? But before we do, let me actually show you the packaging, because the packaging on the Tophill, it destroys Pagani design, Cadison, Steel Dive, and all the rest of them. Check it out. So, we've got the box here. You pop it out, you've got your booklet up there, and you'll have the watch sitting in here. It just looks so stylish and expensive. Really like that. Where's the watch? So here it is. This is the watch we'll be talking about today in detail. Now, check out the link to the listing in the description below the video, as well as that check out the discount codes and the link to my collection. So basically all the watches we've been discussing lately in one place. And now let's dive in and talk about the details. The first thing you'll notice with the Tophill TD006G is how deceptive the dimensions are. On paper, this is a 41mm watch, but on the wrist, it wears with the visual presence of something far more compact and refined. That's thanks to the clever stance this case delivers. The lugs sit relatively wide apart, almost squarish in profile, giving the whole watch a planted, well-distributed silhouette. Now, the case itself does measure 41mm across, with case thickness of 12.2mm without the cyclops, or 13.5 with it. Not bad at all, but perhaps most crucially, we get a lug-to-lug length of just 47.3mm, all thanks to inverted end links, meaning it hugs smaller wrists well, and you can clearly see how nicely it sits on my 6.5-inch wrist with zero overhang. If we take a look from the flank, we get a flat horizontally brushed profile that runs tall and true. You get a clear layered case construction here as well. There's a lip just under the flank where the screw-down exhibition case back protrudes ever so slightly, giving you some visual depth. Up top, we've got the scalloped edge of the rotating bezel, with each notch deeply cut and brushed, aiding grip while maintaining cohesion with the case lines. That stainless steel bezel features a blue anodized insert with silver tone 0 to 60-minute markings. There's a definite synergy here. The brushing on the case flanks, the polish on the bevels, and the way the end links integrate flush into the lug hoods. It all adds up to a case and bracelet integration that looks seamless and feels considered. Over at 3 o'clock, we've got a guarded crown, which is, unfortunately, a push-pull crown. But this is a diver, but we'll get onto that slightly later in the review. But the setup of this unsigned crown still looks great. The crown tip is polished, while the crown guards are brushed on the sides with polished tips, catching the light nicely from different angles. All in all, this case design shows restraint and refinement in all the right places. Right, so let's talk crown action. At position 0, you're hand winding the watch, and for a DG2813 movement, the one we've got here, it actually feels surprisingly buttery and smooth. You do get some of that mechanical graininess, but it's smoother than the Miyota 8215. This movement is actually cloning. You'll need about 30 to 40 full turns to top it up, and no, you can't overwind it, so don't stress about it. Pull it out to the first position, and you can set the date. No fuss, pretty responsive. Pull it out to the second position and you're in full time setting mode. This is where things really impress. There's no slop or wobble, and that minute hand holds steady right where you leave it, so it's very much usable. And yes, this is a hacking movement, so the seconds hand stops when you pull the crown, giving you proper precision if you're syncing up. Now, while the listing wrongly claims that it's a Miyota 2813, let's be clear, Miyota never made a 2813 caliber. This is a Chinese DG2813 movement which features 21 joules, roughly 36 to 40 hours of power reserve, depending on luck. So it's not the workhorse a Miyota is, but still, for this price, it's a solid piece. Let's talk about the bezel. We've got a 120-click unidirectional bezel, and the first thing you'll notice is the sound. It's loud, mechanical, and ratchety. Now, the rotation feel is quite firm. It's not spring-loaded in the traditional sense. There's a kind of solid block resistance as you turn it. You're not easing through the clicks, you're pushing through them with intention. It's not buttery, but it is deliberate. And most importantly, the resistance is consistent all the way through the rotation cycle. When it lands on a detent, there's a very slight backplay at the detent itself, a bit of a micro wobble that gives it a strange but harmless feel. That said, there's no float between the clicks. You're either in the detent or you're not, and that's what really counts. It locks in and it's not likely to be nudged off position in daily wear. Now, there's no lume pip or triangle marker on the insert, which is definitely worth noting. Visibility and orientation in the dark will suffer as a result. Let's talk bracelet. We've got a classic 3-link setup, and with a high polished central link flanked by brushed outer links, and a satisfying taper from 20mm at the lugs to 16mm at the clasp, which does wonders for visual balance and on-wrist comfort, especially for the slimmer wrists. Now, the inverted end links are a real strength here. They sit flush with the case, creating a seamless integration, no jarring gaps or misalignment. It gives the bracelet a purpose-built look, like it was made for this case, not just slapped on it. In terms of construction, we are dealing with push pins, not screw pins. It is sort of understandable at this sub $100 price, but here's where the nuance comes in. Link articulation is excellent and there's real fluidity in how the bracelet conforms to the wrist, but tolerances, they are not amazing. There's noticeable stretch which gives away its budget roots. It flexes where you'd expect it to hold firm. Flip the watch over and we get a butterfly clasp. Symmetrical, low profile, but it comes with trade-offs. There are no half links, and the individual links on this bracelet measure a full 10mm, so unless you're lucky with sizing, getting a precise fit will be trial and error. Flipping the watch over, we're met with a mineral crystal display back, so no, it's not a sapphire sandwich. Front and center, this dial is where this Tophill earns its praise. The framing bezel, whether you go with red, black or the striking blue variant we've got with us, immediately draws your gaze inwards, and that's where things get impressive. Starting up top, we've got a flat slab of synthetic sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. Seated almost flush with the bezel, maybe just a hairline proud of it. Mounted atop is a sapphire cyclops, and this one's done right. It's not oversized, not bulbous, just 1.3mm tall, which keeps it subtle yet functional. More importantly, it perfectly aligns with the date window, magnifying the numeral cleanly and fully. This level of attention on such a budget piece is rare and commendable. Guiding the eye inward is a deep brush rehaut, sharply angled and visually dynamic. It frames a silver tone chapter ring holding the minute markings, and then we descend into the dial. A sand-textured gradient blue, light at the pinions, growing darker towards the edges. This dial transitions beautifully, playing with both texture, like that grain or sandy texture, and the shades to create a sense of depth. For the hour markers, we get tiny luminous batons, as well as that applied Arabic numerals at every even number, so 2, 4, 6, and so forth. Both are subtle and well executed, contributing to a clean but detailed layout. The handset is syringe style. You've got batons filled with lume, leading into needle-fine tips for both hours and minutes. The chrome seconds hand glides over the dial, catching the light just enough to be seen, never loud. But then again, it's not loomed, nor does it have a lollipop. The branding is minimal, Tophill under 12, automatic above 6, both applied in polished silver tone. It's restrained, letting the gradient hue and dial geometry do the talking, and the overall effect is a beautifully composed, vintage-leaning face with contemporary touches. As for the lume, it's surprisingly solid. The applied markers and numerals glow clearly, with a relative quick charge and decent retention. It's not torch-like, but for a dress diver hybrid under this price, very respectable. A missed opportunity, however, lies on the bezel. There's no triangle, no lume pip, no orientation marker of any kind. It's an aesthetic choice, sure, but from a functional standpoint, it's a gap. Still, altogether, this dial setup from rehaut to lume is elegant, balanced, and impressively executed. So what did you think about this Tophill watch? Do you think it's too compromised and too nuanced, or does it actually have a leg to stand on? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video. If you did like it, drop me a like and also press the hype button down below because it really helps disperse my video across YouTube and that should help. But anyways, check out the affiliate link in the description below the video, as well as check out the discount codes and the link to my collection. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.